Hello and welcome to Full Day of Dance. My name is Leslie Friedman, and 9 years ago, I started the International Dance Festival at Silicon Valley. I decided that there was a problem, which was that dancers and non-dancers both really needed more opportunities to dance and to learn each other's dances. I'm thrilled with the great response from really around the world to study Kathak today with Shambhavi Dandekar. It is an honor and a delight to have her be part of this program. I am thrilled to be able to watch, and I am also excited to be able to be here and learn. Thank you, Shambhavi, and take it away.
Thank you, Leslie. It's wonderful to be here as a part of Silicon Valley International Dance Festival. And Leslie, your activity is commendable. I congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you for involving me in this great activity. So really enjoying being a part of it. And it's an amazing feeling that so many participants have joined in from different parts of the world, even from India, where it is literally midnight right now. So it's just amazing, and it shows the love that we all have for dance in general. So kudos to us. It is a bit challenging for me to teach a class like this one because it's my first time that I'll be teaching a mixed class, as in some of the participants have never danced Kathak before and they want to know about the dance form. They want to start tapping their feet in the Kathak way. And then we have a lot of Kathak students here, but we also have a lot of senior level dancers who have been dancing for a good 8 to 10 years or even more than that. So it's really a challenge to incorporate, to carve my content in a way where I can please each one of you, if I may. So the flow of the class is going to be such that I'm going to talk about the history of Kathak in brief, in like a couple of minutes. After that, we are also going to see what are the highlights of Kathak, what are the takeaway points in Kathak. If you go watch a Kathak performance, what catches your eye? So that is going to be a part of my introduction. But after that, and I'm thinking I should be done with the talking in about 5 minutes. And after that, we are going to get up and start dancing. So that's the plan for the day. So you all might know that India has an extremely diverse and rich cultural heritage, which takes us back to centuries together. And there are 9 classical dances from different parts of India, which are officially declared or noted as Indian classical dance styles. Now, Kathak is one of them, and it comes from the north side of India, northern part of India, essentially a state called Uttar Pradesh. So Kathak is a North Indian classical dance which finds its roots in the state of Uttar Pradesh. A few centuries ago, and we are talking about roughly 12th to 14th century here, when storytellers from small villages in North India, they used to narrate various dramatic mythological stories from epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata in front of all the villagers every evening. And this gathering used to take place in the village temple. So it essentially used to be performed for the gods, but in the presence of all the villagers every evening. And you can imagine so many centuries ago, this was the only mode of entertainment that was available for all the villagers. But I would say a lot of water has passed under the bridge since then, and Kathak over the centuries has evolved into a beautiful, highly enlightening and entertaining dance form that we find today. Throughout its journey, Kathak has had to face a lot of historic changes and political challenges because North India was constantly invaded by outsiders. And every time there was an invasion, the new king would try to uproot the original traditions and customs and religions from that particular region. And that made Kathak undergo a lot of changes. It used to be performed in the temples originally, but then later on it found its place in the court of the kings. And after that, around India's independence, it found its place on the proscenium stage. And that, from that point onwards, we can say that Kathak really started evolving as a performing art. So that has been a rough evolution of Kathak in a nutshell. When we say Kathak, what does come in front of our eyes? What are those noteworthy points in Kathak? So the first is the dress, obviously, because it's a visual art. So dress is something that tells us that it could be a Kathak performance. You're going to watch how a Kathak dancer dresses up in my video, which is going to be the end of today's session. Generally speaking, it's an Indian dress. It's like a chudidar or a long skirt, which we call lehenga, and blouse and a long scarf, which we call dupatta. Beautiful ornaments and beautiful makeup, bindi is an essential. And there are also ankle belts, which are called ghungaroos, and they are used to accentuate the rhythm that the Kathak dancer is creating through his or her footwork. Now, when I say his or her, I want to take you back to a very peculiar aspect of the history of Kathak, and which is that for centuries together, Kathak was practiced only by men. And in today's Kathak world, where it is absolutely overpowered by women over men, it is hard to believe, but that's the truth. So Kathak essentially was a dance form which was performed by men, although the subjects that used to come up in their acting or singing, they were always kind of leaning towards the feminine experiences of life. I think feminine is more beautiful and more sentimental and more expressive, and that's why I think it was that way. There are, I would say, 4 highlights of Kathak dance style. One of them is the fast and nimble footwork that the dancers display, and we are going to try our hand or try our feet at it. The second is the fast and numerous pirouettes or spins, which are called chakkars. So, and we are also going to try some chakkar patterns in this class. The third highlight of Kathak performance would be a very, very natural and very flowy, subtle storytelling that Kathak has, which is typically called abhinaya. The storytelling is very natural and subtle in a way that it's not really confined into the gesture language or hand gestures that are a very important part of other Indian classical dance forms. And the last highlight of a Kathak performance, I would say, is the recitation of rhythm, which is called padhan. And this aspect you do not find in any other Indian classical dances. So in Kathak, the dancer takes the liberty, or I would say takes pride in reciting the rhythm before he or she actually dances it. And that gives the audience a better chance to get themselves acquainted with the rhythm patterns that are coming up. It also gives the audience a chance to familiarize themselves with the aesthetic that is involved in that particular piece. So that is Padhant. And as I'm going to walk you through the class, we are also going to say different rhythm patterns as we are going to perform them through footwork. So in short, in a nutshell, footwork, chakkar, storytelling, and Padhant, these are the four characteristics of Kathak that would make it stand up against other classical dances of India, I would say. So there's one more thing that I would like to say, which is that Kathak is not Bollywood dancing. Although you'd see that there's a lot of Kathak influence on Bollywood dancing, but they are poles apart. Kathak being a classical dance, it adheres to a long list of technique and do's and don'ts and a list of particulars by which the dancer has to go. And over here, you can always compare Kathak with ballet, with classical ballet, and how we find existence of classical ballet in contemporary dancing or modern dancing. So in the same way, you can compare Kathak and Bollywood dancing. But having learned Bollywood dancing or being able to dance Bollywood does not qualify someone as a Kathak dancer, unfortunately so. So I think that's enough about the history and evolution of Kathak, and it's time for us to get on our feet. So let's begin. So I am going to be looking at my right a lot, probably, because I have a big projector screen there, and that is where I see you in a good size. So rather than looking at my computer screen, sometimes I tend to look at the bigger you so that I get a sense of interaction. So please excuse me for that. So the stance in Kathak is where you join the heels and the toes are kept apart at 45 degrees angle, and the hands are kept in front of the chest in such a way that the elbows and the fingers are in the same line, in one line. Now with the hands, you hold a mudra, which is very similar to, or exactly same, I would say, as the Jnana mudra in yoga. You use this mudra a lot when you are meditating. So this is the mudra that we use, and by mudra, we mean hand gesture. So this is the first basic stance of Kathak. Just as in other classical dances, core plays a very, very big role in my dance in Kathak. So holding the core tight gives the back and the shoulders a very good position. So now we are going to start with very basic hand gestures, which are hand movements, which are hey, 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 hey. And every time you open the hand, you tap your same foot. So right hand, right foot. Now it's interesting how the hand movement is always followed by the eyes and the movement of the head. And for that, in our rule book, we say yato hastas tato drishtihi in Sanskrit, which means the eyes always follow the hand. So that is the rule of the thumb. So let's do the hand movements one more time. And this time we are going to explore different levels. So upper, middle, and lower. 1, 2, 3, go. Hey, 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 middle, hey, 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 lower level, hey, 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 and stop. So this was a very basic movement, which is with which probably we begin with Kathak training. Now let's try our feet at the basic footwork in Kathak. So this is going to be a 4-beat rhythm, which is called ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat. The footwork for this goes in this way. So, and I'm going to mirror you. So it's a custom to start with the right foot all the time. So this is my right foot for the time being. So I want you to mirror me and tap the same foot. So let's begin. Just have a look at me 1 or 2 times. So it goes flat, 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 and heel. Flat, 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 and heel. Now you see, I'm holding my hands in a different way. Earlier, when I was doing my hand movements, I was keeping my hands in front of my chest. But now, since I'm doing only footwork, I just hold my hands together in front of my belly. And this is going to balance out my body very well for footwork. 1, 2, 3, go. Ta, thei, thei, heel. Ta, thei, thei, heel. Ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei. Let's try double speed. Ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat, ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat, ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat. Let's have some more fun with even faster ta, thei, thei, tat. And go. Ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat, ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat, ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, and stop. So over here, if you're able to notice the way I'm doing footwork, I'm not lifting my feet as much. It's a very small lift and a hard tap. And that is the technique that Kathak dancer is required to master. In addition to that, there's no bouncing of the body. So the body is kept very stable. The shoulders hardly move. So whatever happens during the footwork is just to do with the lower body and not with the upper body. So balancing yourself that way and making yourself steady is another quality that we seek in footwork. So let's try some fast footwork one more time, just for fun. So the speed would be ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat. 1, 2, 3, and go. Ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat, ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat. If you're up for it, you can also try it faster. And go. Ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat, ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat, ta, thei, thei, tat, ta, thei, thei, tat, ta, thei, thei, tat, ta, thei, ta, thei, thei, tat, 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 a, thei, thei, tat, and stop. So that was your introduction to the basic footwork in Kathak. And when I'm going to share my performance video with you towards the end of the session, you'll see how it is actually applied into a performance. It can actually be presented in a highly complex way with highly complex rhythmic patterns. Okay, moving on to some complex hand movements. So to begin with, we saw just single beat, thei, thei. Now we are going to try some 4-beat hand movements. Again, we are going to use the same rhythm for it, which is ta, thei, thei, tat, a, thei, thei, tat. So the first movement which comes up in my mind is a very beautiful movement with a beautiful turn of the wrist. Wrist movements is a highlight of the Kathak movement vocabulary, I would say, and that lends Kathak a very flexible and supple look, I would say. So you can try just the hand movements. You can look at me and try to imitate, or you could also do the footwork with them. So it's totally up to you, whatever makes you comfortable. 1, 2, 3, and go. Ta, thay, thay, tat, ta, thay. Every time the hand comes back, it goes back in the Jnana Mudra. Ta, thay, thay. 2 more times. Ta, thay, thay, tat, ta, thay. And change. Ta, thay, thay, tat, ta, thay. Drawing a circular shape with your hands. Ta, thay, thay, tat, ta, thay. 2 more times. Ta, thay, thay, tat, ta, thay, thay. Another circular shape. Ta, thay. Beautiful arch this time. Ah, thay, thay, tat, ta, thay, thay, tat, ah, thay, thay. 2 more times. Ta, thay, thay, tat, ah, thay. And now comes a quintessential Kathak movement, which is called Kran. Ah, thay. And see how the hands form a lotus above our heads. Tat, ah, thay, thay, tat, ta, thay. 1 more time, and we are going to add another movement to this Kran. So, ta, thay. Now look at me. Tat, ah, thay, thay, tat, ta, thay, thay, tat, ah, thay, thay, tat, ta, thay, thay, tat, ah, thay, and stop. So these were some of the signature movements in Kathak. Most of the times they are actually performed with a lot of coverage of, with a lot of space covering, or, they are actually performed with speed variations as well. But just to give you some idea about how the movement vocabulary in Kathak is. Moving on to the next exciting part of the session, which is trying out the chakkars or the spins. So let's begin with a very basic 3-beat chakkar. Tat, tat, thay. It is tat, tat, thay. So it goes this way. Now, see, I'm mirroring you, and I want you to just copy me. Start with your right hand in front. This is your tat. Then move back, turn back with another tat, and finish in place with thay. So on thay, when you finish the chakkar, the hands come into their normal position. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, go. Tat, tat, thay. And next one. Tat, tat, thay. Tat, tat, thay. Let's do 2 more. Tat, tat, thay. Last one. Tat, tat, stop. So this is the basic chakkar, but it is hardly done in this speed. Okay, the real speed is way faster. So it could probably go tat tat ek, tat tat do, tat tat teen, tat tat char, tat tat panch, so on and so forth. All right. Now let's also try our hands at the single beat chakkar, which is more challenging. It involves pivoting on the heel. Okay. So every time what happens is you pivot on your left heel and tap your right foot. Okay. So now again mirroring you. So use your right hand out in the corner, and you're going to bring the hand in. With that, you're going to spin, pivot on your left heel. And finally, tap your right foot to throw the hand out again. Okay, it goes this way. tat, ek, tat, do, tat, teen, tat, char, tat, panch. Take a break. We'll try this one more time. I know this could be a challenging if you're trying out Kathak for the first time because there are several factors at play. So we start the training with the basic tat tat thai chakkar, which is definitely manageable for all the beginner level students. So let's try out our the one beat chakkar one more time. 1, 2, 3, go. Tat, ek, tat, do, tat, teen, tat, char, tat, stop. And exactly in the same way, you could just reverse your sides. You could switch and try it out from the other side as well. So from the other side, it goes 1, 2, 3, and tat, ek, tat, do, tat, teen, tat, char, tat, stop. Now this can really go fast. As you advance in the training, you train yourself to do more chakkars and at a faster speed. So typically these chakkars would be like tat, ek, do, teen, char, panch, chhe, saat, aat, something like that. So that's how the chakkars go. Now I would like to probably play a little bit with the rhythm. So rhythm is a very, very strong aspect in Kathak performance, and rightfully so, because with so much the potential to do fast tapping, fast footwork, the rhythm can come out really, really well. So, and also, I think I just touched upon that point when I was introducing Kathak, that the dancer wears ankle bells. They are typically somewhere between 100 and 125 bells around one ankle. So with the bells, even the smaller nuances in the tapping, they are actually projected very well through the ghungroos. And watch out for that in my performance in the end. Normally when you teach, the teacher doesn't wear ghungroos because they have a very sharp sound, and that mostly clashes with the instructions, the verbal instructions. So that's mostly why teachers don't wear ghungroos while teaching. All right, so now these are the patterns that I'm sure is going to be a good takeaway for those of you who are already learning Kathak, because you can always incorporate these patterns in your performance, or you can apply different hand movements to them, or try them in the faster speed maybe. So the first pattern here is ta thei, a thei, a thei. And I want all of us to try tapping the feet in a very organic way. So if I'm saying ta thei, a thei, ta thei, you can just start tapping your feet with it, isn't it? Ta thei, a thei, a thei, ta thei, a thei, a thei. This is very organic. This is something that comes very naturally to us. And I think that is one of the, that is where I find beauty in Kathak. So this rhythm goes this way. Ta thei, a thei, ta thei, a thei, ta thei, a thei, ta 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 thei. So typically we would be doing one tap for every syllable that I'm saying, and I would encourage you to start reciting the syllables. That adds a great energy to the performance. There's another interesting thing over here to share with you, that the dancer chooses a specific number of beats for the performance. It's called a tal cycle. So today I have chosen 16 beats, which is called trital, and all the compositions or all the pieces, rhythmic pieces that I'll be teaching you today, they fit into the rhythm cycle of 16 beats. Okay, so that is another beauty of Kathak, or I would say pretty much all Indian classical dances, that there is also a mathematical angle behind it. So let's just say the rhythm one time just to enjoy how it sounds. Ta thei ta thei, a thei a thei, ta thei ta thei, a thei a thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei. So let's start tapping with it now. 1, 2, 3, go. Ta thei ta thei, a thei a thei, ta thei ta thei, a thei a thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei. Now this can be used for movement as well. So I'm just going to show you some very basic movements on this rhythm pattern, which you all will be able to do with me. So this movement has flicking of the hands, okay, on the sides and then in front. Okay, after that, the last part of the rhythm has both hands going out to make a circle. And then finally, we are going to finish with chakkars. And over here, for chakkars, we are using a different pattern where you open your both hands and just pull them in to do the chakkar, like this. Okay, so let's see how this rhythm goes. 1, 2, 3, and ta thei ta thei, a thei a thei, ta thei ta thei, a thei a thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei. Okay, I'm sure you guys are having fun in different ways. Let's try this out one more time with the movement. 1, 2, 3, and go. Ta thei ta thei, a thei a thei, ta thei ta thei, a thei a thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei, ta thei ta thei ta ta thei. Okay. Yeah, I see a wonderful pose in the end. I mean, that's really wonderful. Yeah, good job. Good job, everyone. Okay, so moving on to the next pattern, which is called Ginti in Hindi, which is the language of Kathak. Ginti means numbers. So to execute the rhythm, we don't use the rhythm language, but we use our regular numbers, which are ek as in 1, do as in 2, teen as in 3, and char as in 4. So this whole rhythm is going to be built up around ek, do, teen, char. And this, I thought of this especially for the advanced level dancers in this group. I think it's going to be a nice takeaway for you from this workshop. So it goes this way. So I'm going to say it in the real speed one time, and then we are going to bring it down and try it out in slow speed. So it goes. Ek, 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 don, do, don, teen, 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 chak, chak, char, ek, ek, do, on, teen, char, ek, ek, do, on, teen, char, ek, do, teen, char, dha, ek, do, teen, char, dha, ek, do, teen, char, dha. Let me recite it one more time. Ek, do, on, teen, char, ek, do, on, teen, in cha ek do o ti cha ek do teen cha dha, ek do teen cha dha, ek do teen cha dha. So now let's try our hand at this rhythm. So it starts with 3 taps with the same foot. Ek, do, don, teen, cha, cha, cha. Okay, let's try it first. 1, do, ti, cha. So which tells us a, do, ti, cha. Next goes a, do, ti, cha, which means a, do, ti, cha. And finally we have ek do teen char dha, ek do teen char dha, ek do teen char dha. So it goes okay, that's how the rhythm ends. So the claps in between on the gaps might remind you of the palmas from the flamenco dancing, and even the claps might have reminded you of flamenco at some point. So it will be interesting for you to check on, to Google it later on, to find out interesting links between Kathak and flamenco and how they have exchanged art in the past. So look it up later on. So let's do this rhythm one more time. 1, 2, 3, go. A, do, o, na, ti, na, cha, cha, cha. A, do, o, ti, cha, cha. A, do, o, ti, cha, cha. Ek do teen char dha, ek do teen char dha, ek do teen char dha, dhanna, dhanna. That sounds like a good finish for the piece. So a lot of times in the end, after a rhythmic improvisation, the dancer actually decides on the spur of that moment how, with what gesture or pose he or she wants to end the piece. So just as this came up spontaneously, it happens a lot of times on stage as well. So how about just the same rhythm one more time, maybe slightly faster. 1, 2, 3, and go. A, do, o, ti, cha, cha, cha. A, do, o, ti, cha, cha. A, do, o, ti, cha, ek do teen char dha, ek do teen char dha, ek do teen char dha, dhanna, 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 dhan, dhan, ha. Okay. So I'm assuming that you are finding this interesting. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Yay, I like it. Okay, sounds good. All right, let's move on to the next piece, which has chakkars. So it goes tat tat thay, tat tat thay, tat tat thay, tat tat thay, ta thay, ta thay, ta thay, tat tat thay, tat tat thay, tat tat thay, tat tat thay, ta thay, ta thay, ta thay, tat tat thay, tat tat thay, tat tat thay, tat tat thay, ta thay, ta thay, ta thay. So don't get overwhelmed by all the sounds that I just created. I'm just going to simplify it with the help of the chakkar patterns, the spins. So the first chakkar that we learned today, ta ta thay. Shall we practice it a few more times to involve it in this piece? Ta ta thay. After this, we are going to have 3 fast chakkars, just bringing the hands in every time. Tat tat thay, tat tat thay, tat tat thay. And after that, we have ta thay, ta thay, ta thay. Yeah. So ta thay. So the hand moves in a diagonal from the back corner to the front corner and goes ta thay, ta thay. And lastly, ta thay. Okay, so this is how the piece is, and you have to do it 3 times back to back because we have the binding of the 16-beat cycle behind us. So it repeats 3 times back to back, and every time there is 2 palmas, 2 claps in between the iterations. 1, 2, 3, go. Tat tat thay, tat tat thay, tat tat go, tat tat teen, ta thay, ta thay, ta thay, tat tat want to do it one more time, but this time I want us to incorporate some movement in it. So in the end, when we are doing tathe, tathe, let's try moving in the corners. Tathe, tathe, tathe. And let's see if it gives us some different energy. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Ta, ta, te, ta, ta, te, ta, ta, te, ta, ta, te, ta, te, ta, te, ta, te, ta, 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 te, ta, te, ta, te, ta, 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 te, ta, te, ta, te. So this pose is another signature pose in Kathak. It can be done just with one hand going up in an arch, but a lot of times, most of the times I would say, it's done with both hands. So, and again in the end of the movement, you'll see a beautiful flick of the wrist. So in Kathak, what's important is one never locks the elbow as much as other Indian dances. The elbow is always soft and the fingers are quite tight. So holding the fingers tight gives a beautiful finish to the line, but the hand is never stick straight. It's always relaxed. So that's one of the signatures of Kathak movement vocabulary, I'd say. So I'm sure this was a lot of fun and it was a lot of movement, especially for someone who's trying this out for the first time. A lot of rhythms, mind-boggling rhythms as well. Moving on to some finer aspects of Kathak. Kathak is not about just big movements. It's a lot about small movements, finer nuances, and as you can tell, it is always harder to achieve that. So let's try our hand at it. And this is something which is so beautifully done by Kathak performers that it actually gives you an effect of a wave or something so subtle and supple, it gives you goosebumps a lot of times. So here I am talking about the neck movement. And you can see there's a lot of muscle control and movement control involved here. So just the neck. And then I'm going to come up and sit close to you, the eyebrows. So just the eyebrows, the neck, where the neck is kind of sliding from one side to the other, gliding, and then finally the wrists. This is supported by the sways of the body. The sideways swaying. It can also go in the corner, depending on the angle at which you are at a particular pose. A lot of times, this also goes in circles, and which is quite challenging, I would say. But if you do it right, see, different parts of your feet are going to get in touch with the floor at different times, and that always gives me a sort of a, acupressure type of a feel. There you go. So these smaller movements are very important for a Kathak dancer. A lot of times, such movements are used to highlight or to confirm the tempo that the dancer has chosen for the performance. The tempo is kept with the help of different instruments like tabla, pakhavaj, harmonium, sarangi, flute. All the instruments contribute in keeping the tempo for the dancer in a very, very musical way. So through such movements, the dancer, I would say, incorporates the tempo in him or her. So that was about smaller nuances in Kathak. I'm going to move on to the storytelling aspect of today's session, which is again very interesting because that connects with the audience in no time. So as I said, Kathak is not confined to the quintessential classical scripture-based gesture language. It does use gestures, but they are in a very, very natural way. For example, the flower. If you want, you can try with me. The flower. So even if you don't know, if you look at this, it's going to tell you that it's a flower, right? I mean, it's very natural. And the birds. Now the next is the bees swarming. And then finally drinking nectar from the flower and quickly flying away, buzzing away. There's trees, tall trees, and lush foliage. And then creepers. There's wind, flowing. There's sun, rays, scorching heat. And then there's the rain. Now, if you want to show pitter-patter, use your footwork. That was the rain. So this was just a glimpse into how natural the storytelling in Kathak goes, and that's why there's a lot of flexibility, there's a lot of freedom, which Kathak dancers always cherish. There are also different sentiments or emotions involved in dancing, and I wouldn't say it's just a prerogative of Kathak, but these basic sentiments are a very, very important part of all Indian classical dances, and they are called Navarasas. Navarasa, 9 sentiments, and it's a great exercise and a very rewarding exercise, I would say, to be able to exhibit the emotions just with the help of your face. And I would definitely like, if you want to give it a try, so I'm going to do some commentary along with my expressions. If you want to check out the flexibility of your facial muscles, this is the time. So the first emotion is Shringara, which means love, erotic sentiment, which means blushing at the thought of your loved one, flutter of the eyes, smile on the face, shallow breathing, Shringar. The second one is Hasya. Hasya is laughter, smile. something funny. And it has a vast range. It can start with a smirk, and it can really go up to a roaring laughter. Hasya. Next we have Karuna. Karuna is pathos, sad, sudden tearing up of the eyes at the thought of something so shocking, so disturbing, the mouth drops. The lips start shaking, the shoulders drop, you're hardly able to breathe. Karuna. Next is Veera. Veera literally means heroic, something that has valor, that has a lot of daring and guts. So maybe a warrior, a soldier who's ready to go out there and conquer. The chest expands, the eyes are filled with confidence, the nostrils flare. There is an urge to prove oneself. That is Veera. But next step is Raudra, which is anger. So you get so mad at someone that you just want to smash their face. You clench your teeth. I'm not going to tolerate it. Look at the breathing. So the first thing that changes when you switch from one emotion to the other is the breathing. And that is kind of the segue into the next emotion. The next sentiment is Bhayanaka. Bhayanak is something horrifying, something fearful. You're not able to look at it because you're scared. You want to look away from it all the time. And you're so scared, you're uncomfortable. You want to run away. A lot of times you cover your face, you cover your mouth because Bhayanak. Next is Bibhatsa, which is odious, full of disgust. Something which makes you so awkward, so uncomfortable. You don't want to look at it. You don't want to talk about it. Your stomach starts stretching. Vibhatsa. And last two. Adbhuta. The sentiment of wonder. Oh my God. 10 million views? 10 million views? Oh my God, in a single day? That could be Adbhuta. Our present day Adbhuta could be 10 million views in a single day. So, jaw dropped. You just keep staring without actually even remembering to flutter. Adbhuta. But all these 8 sentiments finally culminate into Shanta, the 9th sentiment, which is calm. So saint-like, so sage-like, meditative, where you are getting rid of all the emotions inside you, just focusing on the inside, internalizing yourself, and feeling that calm through the breathing. That is Shanta. So these are the 9 sentiments that form the foundation of the storytelling in all Indian classical dance styles, I would say. So this is just kind of a glimpse into it, but trust me, it is also possible to practice this on your own because these sentiments are not related to any culture. These are universal sentiments, so everybody has them inside, and it's just a matter of bringing them out through your face. Okay, so that's all that I had planned for today, honestly. And if you look at the time, it is exactly 12:30. So last 10 minutes is going to be watching a performance. So what I like about, let me just grab a chair now. So I'm going to introduce the piece really quickly. It's about the dance of Lord Shiva. And what I love about Indian gods and goddesses is that all of them love to dance. They dance in their different ways, which is an exposition of their own characteristics. The dance of Shiva is vigorous, it's fast, it's spellbinding. And I've chosen this piece because it also has a live tabla accompaniment. So, that also gives you a feel of how the dancer and the musicians interact. So it's about that as well. It's a composition of one of my two gurus, my teachers, Pandit Suresh Talwalkar, which is very close to my heart. And I would like you all to sit back and enjoy. So just give me a second to share the screen. And on the side, thank you so much for all the lovely messages. Thank you so much for all the love. I am really grateful. Thank you so much. Somebody was showing me a heart. Thank you, dear.
Something went wrong. Let me just try it one more time. Are you able to hear the music? No? Okay, I'm going to try one more time. That's this part of being online, I don't like. Just give me a second.
we are not able to see the video.
Was someone saying something? Are you able to see?
It just started like a second ago, but it was frozen all the time.
Is it frozen all the time?
Yeah.
Yes. No use?
It was working.
Was it working? Oh, okay.
This is the end.
Oh, okay. Okay. One last try, otherwise we'll have to call it off.
No,
I'm so sorry.
We did not see the drummer moving, but we did the music, and then we could see you moving.
Okay. Okay.
So at that point, we heard the sound and saw you moving.
Okay.
The only thing I saw that was frozen was the beginning with the drummer. I heard it, but I could not see his hands moving.
Okay. Check it now.
Share the link.
Did it work this time?
Yes.
Great. our time is up. Do you want me to stop the video? You'll have
Sad. Our time is up.
yes,
Oh, this is sad. This is terrible. This is a dreadful event. Running out of time.
because I know you have a next class.
We have a next class. Well, actually, we have what we have now is the lunch break. So if you, how much longer is the video?
I could just move it to the end and let's watch the last excerpt.
Let's watch some more of it. And let me say how grateful I am to you for this brilliant presentation down to the moment. It was all about timing. It was perfect. And I'm thrilled to see the video, and it was wonderful to try and do the pieces. I can't summarize this because it was so wonderful. I'm very, very grateful to you. And I think what we should do is have you decide where to restart or how to restart your video. And people who are here as participants might choose to leave if they need to go on. Our next class starts at 1 p.m. here. No, I'm looking in the wrong place. 1:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So I'm going to say on with the show, and thank you so much. And the artist will choose where to start and where to stop. I think it did give a wonderful example of the interaction between the dancer and the musician, and how and sometimes the musician is dancing, and a lot of times, if not always, the dancer is the musician.
So true.
Many thanks.
Absolutely.
So many thanks.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you again for this opportunity. And participants, feel free to leave if you have something else to go to. I'm just going to move the video to the last couple of minutes where I think the interaction is quite exciting. So let me just attempt to do it one more time.
Very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being a great bunch of participants. I loved looking at your faces in between, and I got a lot of energy from you today. Thank you so much. Do leave a feedback with, the email with which you communicated earlier. That will kind of help Leslie and her artists like me to do a better job next time.
Hard to be better than this.
If you want to unmute yourself, please feel free to do that at this time. I'm just checking the messages and they all say such good things. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I will try and save the chat messages, and anyone who wants to send an email to me, the Lively Foundation, I will make sure to share the information or your comments with Shambhavi. I will do that, of course, and I know they will all be bouquets of happiness. Lively Foundation at sbcglobal.net. Thank you all.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Leslie, and thank you, Shambhavi, for doing this.
Thank you. Last but not least, I would just like to thank two more people. The first person is my brother Abhijit, who had set up this meeting. We were expecting a lot of participants and my Zoom just allows up to 99. So we requested him to set this meeting up. So thanks to him. And then Isha, my student, who's been acting as an admin for this meeting, letting you all in and all that. So thank you, Isha. I love you.
No problem, Thay. I'm glad to attend. So much fun.
Thank you all.
Do you have any questions, Rachel?
Thank you.